Louder.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Fantasy Football Dynasty. We're coming at you guys again with our Playing versus Fatum show. Another one that we've really enjoyed doing. We came at you guys this week with a Facebook post and a tweet looking for your guys' matchups, what you guys want to hear, what you guys are having as far as these difficult decisions on your Play-em, Fatum, start, sit, whatever you want to call it. We kind of gathered a few different ones, and Jerel and I even came at each other with a couple of our own this week. So we're going to dive right in. We've got Alvaro here on Facebook. He has to start two. He's got Juju versus Philadelphia, DK Metcalf versus Minnesota, and DJ Chark at Houston. Jerel, which two you playing? Which one are you fading?
Man, Alvaro on Facebook, he has a really nice problem to have. He gets to start two of these, or he has to pick one to sit. Man, that's tough. If only you could start all three. I'd love to start all three. I think DK is the easiest play of these three. I think, again, letting Russ cook, DK's one of the big beneficiaries there. So it's between DJ Chark and Juju for the play him or fade him for me. And I hate to say it, I might be fading my Steeler Juju just because I love the matchup for DJ Chark a little better against Houston. So I'm going to play DJ Chark and fade my Steeler Juju.
Yeah, I do think that DK is the obvious start of the three out of these ones. And truthfully, yeah, I'm with you. I think DJ Chark's going to have, a field day with that Houston defense. Juju, who would have ever thought that a Philadelphia secondary would be the one that we thought would be the toughest matchup out of some? But yeah, I do think that might be is going to be the tougher of the two. So I'm going to have to play DK and DJ, and I'm gonna be fading Juju this week in that matchup.
Juju just had too many letters in his name. We're going to play DK and DJ and sit the one with the long name, Juju.
That's all it is. Yeah, Alvaro, man, that's a great problem to have, as Jerel said. Shoot, if you can find a way to play all three of them, depending on what else you have, play all three of them. But that's what we have there for you.
Especially if you can only play two of those guys, you might have to look at trading one of those and upgrading at other positions because it would pain me to have any of those three on my bench this week.
And next up, we actually have a question from my boy Travis on Facebook. He has either Daniel Jones at Dallas or Phillip Rivers at Cleveland. Before you guys say anything, he does have Aaron Rodgers on a bye and picked up both of these guys from waivers. And I talked to him. He plans on dropping one of them after he makes his decision and hopefully dropping the other one after this week is over and Rodgers is back. Dude, this one is – rough. I think that because Rivers has a couple of receivers injured and because he's going to have a tougher time with the Cleveland defense than Daniel Jones is with the Dallas defense, I'm going to have to fade old man Rivers and play Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, both of these guys have been kind of disappointing. I know Casey thought Phillip Rivers might be one of those guys that jumps in that sneaks into that top 10, and then I actually liked Daniel Jones this year. But they've both been turning the ball over, not really impressive. Hate that I'm picking between these two, but it makes sense if Aaron Rodgers is on bye. I think I'm going to fade the old man, Phillip Rivers, and play Daniel Jones. Again, hoping that Daniel Jones's production this year is because of the tough defenses that he's faced, and hopefully he turns it around against the Dallas Cowboys.
Hopefully. Man, and I do want to take a minute to shout out Travis on Facebook. Him and Jason do a show called Straight from the Hip every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find him on Facebook.
SFTH.
You can find him on Facebook at Straight from the Hip. They always come with some really good stuff. And they've been very supportive of us, Fantasy Football Dynasty. So go check them out, man. They are more than football. They're basketball, baseball. They are high school football. They do everything over there. So go check them out.
They mostly focus on Georgia high school sports, right?
Yes, they do. They do. They've got pretty good segments that they throw in a good bit of that, and I like catching their show every week. It's a joy to watch. Next, we have another Facebook question. Jerel, I think I know which way you're leaning on this one. We have Darren Waller at Kansas City or Mo Alley Cox at Cleveland. You're leaning Alley Cox, right?
Give me less Alley Cox. I'm taking Darren Waller, and this one's the easiest one we have listed here. I think maybe they're worried about the matchup with KC and the fact that, as you mentioned in our DFS show, Alley Cox has 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games, but Alley Cox is seeing the field less than Jack Doyle and Trey Burton. So give me Darren Waller, who's the focal point of that Raiders offense.
Yeah, and the number 4 tight end on the season so far. I agree with you. I think this I think this is the easiest one on the list that we have. I've got to start Waller, man. I've got him in a couple of leagues, and there's no question on who I'm starting with this one. Next, we had a Twitter one from @DavisLove13, DAVIZLUV13. He asks, Jerick McKinnon versus Miami or Darrell Henderson at Washington?
Yeah, thanks for the Twitter shout out, David. David Lindgren is his name, @DavisLove13. Really good question. 2 guys that are in split back systems. I think McKinnon has the better matchup here, though, against the Miami Dolphins defense. Yes, Mostert might be coming back, but he's questionable going into this week. And Darrell Henderson actually gets more competition with rookie running back Cam Akers coming back into the fold. So I lean McKinnon here.
Yeah. Not only that, with Mostert coming back, I think that they're going to try to ease him back into this offense a little bit. I have to agree with you. I do think Jerick McKinnon over Darrell Henderson here. Playing McKinnon, fading Henderson. And I'm going to let you take over for the next few here, Jerel.
Yeah, I got a couple in, the many leagues I'm in this season. And the Quarantine Community League on Twitter, you can follow them at the QC League. Each week I have to throw out polls, and so this will be one of my polls. I have to start 2 of these guys in my flex, Cody. John Brown at Tennessee, Preston Williams at San Francisco, Tim Patrick at New England, and Myles Gaskin, running back for the Miami Dolphins, at San Francisco. I got to start 2. Which 2 are you playing? Which 2 are you fading?
So I think looking at the list, Myles Gaskin jumps off the page immediately. He's been a surprise. No one really expected him to kind of get the lion's share of the work in that offense. So Myles Gaskin is a play for me.
I'm with you there. Definitely Myles Gaskin is the easy play there. You got to go with the running backs that are getting workhorse loads.
Yeah, without a doubt. And next, you got to choose between one of those wide receivers for your next flex. As you mentioned in the pre-production, John Brown is he's questionable. He's still dealing with an injury there, and he's questionable because we don't know 100% if that game's being played. Obviously, it's scheduled right now, so we assume it is. But I don't necessarily think I like him even as much as Tim Patrick. With Noah Fant being gone and Stephon Gilmore being gone, as you mentioned in the DFS show, I'm going Tim Patrick here, and I'm going him over Preston Williams as well. So, yeah, Tim Patrick and Myles Gaskin are my plays. John Brown and Preston Williams are my fades.
Yeah, I'm probably with you again. Myles Gaskin is the easy play, so then it's down to John Brown, Preston Williams, and Tim Patrick. Like you said, fading John Brown because of the injury and the question surrounding that game. Fading Preston Williams because he's been fading fantasy points all season, and playing Tim Patrick. Not a great matchup like I talked about in the DFS show, but no Stephon Gilmore, and no Noah Fant. So playing Tim Patrick and Myles Gaskin. I got another one for you. It's a two-part question because your answer to the first part is going to be part of the second question. In my work league, former work league, I have to start one of these guys at tight end. Hayden Hurst for the Atlanta Falcons versus Carolina, or Jonnu Smith for the Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills. Start one of them. Play one at tight end, fade one.
This one's close for me, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's a tough one for sure. I think that I am going to be playing Hayden Hurst. Julio's still questionable as the number one wide receiver, and that, arguably now with Calvin Ridley showing out this year. And Jonnu Smith is getting A.J. Brown back. I think I'm going to slightly play Hayden Hurst and fade Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I mean, these are two guys that we called for breakouts going into the season. Hayden Hurst could get an uptick in looks with Julio questionable. But I also see that with Jonnu Smith. Again, that game in itself is in question, but wide receivers Corey Davis and Adam Humphries are on the COVID list for Tennessee. So I'm personally going to play Jonnu Smith, even though obviously it's a risky play with that game up in the air, and fading Hayden Hurst for the sake of this question. But again, it leads to a second part. So since you're fading Jonnu Smith, I need one more player for my flex, and we'll stick Jonnu Smith with T. Higgins at Baltimore, Tim Patrick at New England, or James White versus the Denver Broncos. One of those four. Play one, fade the rest of them.
Okay. So T. Higgins has a pretty tough matchup there against Baltimore. I think I'd have to fade Higgins there.
Game script could work for him, though.
That's true. Tim Patrick, I mean, I do like. We've mentioned him a couple of different times. James White, I mean, he's still got Rex Burkhead and Damian Harris that he's having to compete with for looks with. He's been able to do enough with it in the past, but I think I like Tim Patrick here.
You're playing Tim Patrick. Are you fading Jonnu Smith because of the game in general, or you just like Tim Patrick better?
A little bit of both. More that I like Tim Patrick a little better in this one. As we mentioned again, New England missing their top corner and Noah Fant being out. I like Tim Patrick.
All right, you're playing Tim Patrick, fading Jonnu Smith, T. Higgins, and James White.
Yep.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me. James White offers a safe floor, so I'd have to kind of look at the matchup. If I think that I'm going to comfortably win, maybe I'd go with a guy that I don't think is going to put up a goose egg. So for me, I'm playing Jonnu Smith in my tight end position, so my flex position for me is going to be between Hayden Hurst, T. Higgins, Tim Patrick, and James White. I think I might have to play both tight ends here. I mean, I do, again, like the points for Tim Patrick, and I do think T. Higgins is the number 2 now in that offense, and game script could work in his favor. And like I said, James White is a safe floor, but I like Hayden Hurst as well. I think I'm going to play both my tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Hayden Hurst. And then I got one more for you, Cody, in the Super TTT League. You can follow them at TTT Super League on Twitter. I need one guy in my flex. AJ Green at Baltimore, Preston Williams at San Francisco, Nyheim Hines, running back for the Colts at Cleveland, Tim Patrick at New England, or Logan Thomas, tight end for the Washington football team at the LA Rams. Play one, fade 4.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm going Tim Patrick again here.
Trick for Patrick.
AJ Green, again, as I mentioned with Higgins a little earlier, is probably going to have a pretty tough time with that Baltimore defense. Preston Williams, as you mentioned earlier, is looking a little disappointing this year. I don't mind Nyheim Hines, actually, at Cleveland. And then Logan Thomas.
Yeah, this is PPR scoring. Sorry, we haven't been talking about that at all, but it's
PPR
probably because it's understood for most leagues at this point, but this is PPR scoring.
So those two being out, it would be between Hines, Patrick, and Thomas for me. And if I'm taking Patrick over Jonnu, I'm taking him over Logan Thomas. So I would have to go Patrick here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that makes sense, especially if you're taking Patrick over Jonnu against the Buffalo defense that gave up. Just look up Mike Gesicki's box scores for this year, and there's one good game, and it was against Buffalo. So I get it. You're big on Tim Patrick. Again, hat trick for Patrick this week. You're playing Patrick in all of my play him or fade him situations here. I think I'm leaning playing Nyheim Hines. Again, I think he's a safer floor than Tim Patrick. He's still seeing the field a lot, and Rivers does still like dumping down to running backs. So I'm leaning playing Nyheim Hines and then fading AJ Green, Preston Williams, Tim Patrick, and Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I think it's definitely between Hines and Patrick for me, so I don't hate that at all. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump on in. I've got a couple for you this week as well. Funny enough, it's in leagues that I play against you in both of them. not against you this week, but we're in the same league there. So I've got to pick two in our keeper league from my flex. I've got Hunter Henry at New Orleans. I've got Deebo Samuel versus Miami. And I've got DJ Chark at Houston.
You got play two and fade one.
Play two, fade one.
I think just like the first question, there's an easy play here out of the three, and that's DJ Chark against Houston. That's an easy play him for me. And then so it's between Hunter Henry and Deebo Samuel, playing one and fading one. And I think I'm going to lean Hunter Henry here for your boys, the Chargers. I think he's been steady this season. He's actually healthy, where we still don't know if Deebo is 100%. And I do think game script could work against Deebo Samuel against Miami. So I like playing DJ Chark and Hunter Henry and fading Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm mostly concerned about what they're going to do with Deebo Samuel. We saw him play last week in a limited capacity. Is it going to be kind of the same thing this week? Obviously DJ Chark is the obvious start. Now that I think about it, I could have just had to pick one between Hunter Henry and Deebo Samuel. But yeah, I've got to, as I mentioned in the DFS show, I've referenced that a lot this week, but I'm going Hunter Henry in that matchup against New Orleans. I'm calling for a bounce back game from the stout Bucs defense that they played last week. I'm going to play Chark and Henry and fade Deebo Samuel there. And the next one is in our Dynasty League. So I've got Raheem Mostert versus Miami or Devin Singletary at Tennessee.
Playing one and fading one. Man, they're two running backs that are in split back systems. I think Mostert has the better matchup against Miami. But he's still questionable even for this week. I think with that being said, I think I have to play Devin Singletary, even though I'm cautious about him as well because Zach Moss is supposed to be back. But give me the one that is, just like the previous one, give me the one that I know is healthy, and that's Devin Singletary.
Yeah. And just like his teammate Deebo Samuel kind of easing him back in the offense, I think they're going to be easing Raheem Mostert back in the offense, especially with the way McKinnon's performed. They don't necessarily absolutely need Mostert to perform that much. And as you mentioned, Devin Singletary is the healthy one. You kind of got to think they may do the same with Moss in that one. So I'm going to be playing Singletary and fading Mostert in that.
Yeah, Singletary is definitely the safer play. I mean, obviously we've seen Raheem Mostert be more capable of big plays, but is he going to get – how many opportunities is he actually going to get this week?
Yeah, exactly. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for our Play 'em Fade 'em this week. As I mentioned, we have a lot of fun doing this, and we actually have something in the works for you for next week that I think you guys will enjoy. Just to tease a little bit, can't give you guys too much. be on the lookout. So I'll tell you, it would be a first for the dynasty. We'll put it that way. But we love your questions. We love answering these for you guys. We love having you guys communicate with us on Facebook, on Twitter, even on Instagram. We're going to start getting more and more stuff out on Instagram. And truthfully, it's going to be something that I want to start doing more and more longer list of these each week. So I'm going to be looking out for engagement from you guys. Jerel, tell them where they can get their Play 'em Fade 'em questions to us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah, guys, make sure, again, follow, get us your Play 'em Fade 'em questions, start sit questions for each week. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook at Fantasy Football Dynasty. And then you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at FFDynasty1.
Yeah, man. And then also they can find us, they can find you at Jerel FF Dynasty 1 on Twitter. They can find me at Cody FF Dynasty 1 on Twitter. We've got Casey at FF_Casey, and we've got Jason, our producer, at Unsportsman Big J. Feel free to get each of us individually questions, and we can share them with the group if you prefer it that way. Guys, thanks again for joining us here with Fantasy Football Dynasty, and hope you guys have a great week.